Cottage Grove Middle School. Let's see here. We are going to talk very quickly today, a very short lesson video, hopefully 5-7 minutes tops today. We're going to do a quick lesson video, and then all you have to do is send me in a message, send me a message in Schoology saying that you watched and one thing you learned today. So D-Day. D-Day is when the Allies assembled in Great Britain. That was the Allies meaning the British and the United States. And we assembled there and had to plan out an attack to somehow go across the English Channel, which is the body of water between the United Kingdom or Great Britain and France. So we were going to France to attack the Germans. Remember, we talked about before, the Germans had taken over France about 4 years before this, in June of 1940. The plan was to storm the beaches. That would mean the boats, as you can see in the picture here, the boats would pull up, guys would come out of the boats shooting, trying to get onto the beach. There would also be an air attack where we'd be bombing the German forces, but also dropping in paratroopers behind the German line. So behind where the Germans are, we're going to drop soldiers that are going to come in and attack the Germans from the back. Also, they're going to be attacking offshore by ship. So our ships are going to be firing at the German machine gun towers and things like that. And it is the greatest action in military history. It's called that because it very surprisingly was quickly successful. I mean, it took just a couple days to get our men on shore and to take the beachhead and then slowly push the Germans back out of France. It doesn't take long, and it will begin the liberation or freeing of Europe. You can see from the pictures here. So General Eisenhower is in charge. He's the American general in charge, and he will also become president of the United States. About 8 years after this, he'll be elected president, and General Montgomery was from Great Britain. They're going to send groups in. You can see at 5 different beaches. Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword Beach are the 5 locations. So on June 6th, they all land there and slowly push their way through. They push their way north, they push their way south, and then they push east, pushing the Germans out of France. The Allies got to Paris, France in just over 2 months. On August 25th, 1944, France is free after 4 years of Nazi rule. You see the Nazis being marched out of Paris here in the picture. You see their hands on their head. You see the guys here. This was the liberation or freeing of Paris. Was a huge deal. Oops, did I skip a slide? No, I did not. Okay. And then the next battle is called the Battle of the Bulge. I always jokingly refer to this as the battle that Mr. Ryder is failing because he's chubby. I'm kidding. That's terrible. Who would say something mean like that? Regardless, the Battle of the Bulge was Hitler's last-ditch attempt to reclaim the Western Front. He had been in retreat, not him personally, but his soldiers had been in retreat for quite a while at this point. Gosh, for almost 6 straight months, he'd been backing up, and they thought that if they were going to hold on, had any chance of at least surviving the war, not winning, but surviving and be able to stay a country, that they had to push back, and they did. There were massive attacks on the Allied forces in Belgium and in Luxembourg. See where kind of that square is on the map. Is where they started to push through. The Allied forces weren't prepared and were outnumbered, but they held off the invasion. It made a bulge in the line, so basically what happened was the line ended up kind of like making a bulge in the middle so that it seemed like they were going to be broken, but it never broke. It was a huge low point for Hitler because we brought in reinforcements, stopped the offensive, and then started pushing the Germans back, and they had to retreat. We are slowly going to make our way now towards Berlin, Germany, the capital. And before that can happen, we have the death of FDR. President Roosevelt, not pictured here. President Roosevelt was elected for a 4th term in November of 1944. Was just starting his 4th term in March of 1945, but died on April 12th, 1945. After his death, Harry Truman, the guy pictured here, will take over as the new president of the United States. Later on, in the early 1950s, the 22nd Amendment would be signed, which only allows the president to serve 2 terms as president of the United States. You cannot have 4 terms ever again like Franklin Roosevelt did. And that leads us to the end of the war. So President Roosevelt died on April the 12th. On May 7, 1945, we had VE Day. Hitler was unable to accept defeat and committed suicide. It's believed that he not only took poison, but because that wasn't working fast enough, he shot himself to death. Now, there are some people who would like to be conspiracy theorists and say that Hitler never killed himself. They never actually found his body. I've been watching a documentary about this on Prime Video, I think. So Amazon Prime Video has a documentary about this from the History Channel that my kids and I were watching last week. We never finished. It's called Hunting Hitler from the History Channel. Hunting Hitler on Amazon Prime. If you're interested in this stuff, it shows a group of people going down to Argentina, where we know that definitely there are Nazis that moved to Argentina after the war, but some of them believed that Hitler went with them and made it there. I don't entirely know if that's true. I haven't gotten to the end of the series yet. So I'll let you know if that happens. But regardless, Hitler was forced to quit. The war is over in Germany, and now we are left simply to fight Japan. And that's where we'll get to next week. Sometime we'll talk about Section 5, the end of the war. Hope you're doing well over there. Reminder, your only assignment that goes with this is to send me a Schoology message. So if you look at my screen, I can go into Schoology right here. Come on, Schoology, where are you? There we go. If I go into Schoology, I click up here at the top. I'll go to the materials here. I go up to the top. Why is this not going? Come on. Oh, boy, it's a little slow moving on the internets today. I go up to the top, and I find this envelope right here. I click this. I click New Message. And I could type in C. Bauman. Oof, I don't show up because I forget. I don't think I can send myself. Oh, there I am. Look at that. I can send myself a message. I wasn't sure if I could do that. So I'd send one to Craig Bauman. Hi, Mr. Bauman. You are the best teacher ever. But I'm sure you already knew that. Wow. Not the best typer, but the best teacher. I learned a lot from the lesson video. Including ... Have a great day. Don't get coronavirus and die. And then I'd write my name. And then I'd hit send. Now you could send me links like next week when we're doing the distance learning stuff. If you're having trouble logging into a document, you can send me pictures of it, whatever you want to do. I'm not worried about how you get me your work. Just make sure that you do something. Send it to me. You can easily just send me a message with the link if you had trouble logging in or whatever. Anyway, I don't want to bore you any longer. This is a long enough video, I'm pretty sure. Well, I just sent that message to myself. That's weird. I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, hope you're all having a great day. Behave yourselves. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.